You can control your PTZ or pan-tilt zoom camera directly using Ecamm Live. If you've got one from HubSpot, Insta360, Logitech, or PTZ Optics, I'm going to show you how to do it right now in this video. Using the PTZ control, it allows you to adjust the framing and the positioning of these cameras, together with the ability to save and recall your presets directly in the camera switcher. Once you've connected a PTZ compatible camera to your Mac, then you should see in your Ecamm Live production a new control that pops up. It will have the name of the associated camera that you've got connected. You can see here in my case, it's the HubSpot Tail Air camera. Now don't worry if you don't see this, I'm going to show you how to get to that control in a second. Over here is the actual camera. This is the Tail Air that I've got connected to my system just to show you that I've got one connected. And if I go to the screen share, you can now see a couple of things. I've got the Tail Air camera output here, and I've got an actual camera pointing at the Tail Air so you can actually see what's going on when I start to move the controls. We have the camera switcher, which, as you know, shows you all the cameras and sources that are connected to your Mac. In my case, I've got the little camera pointing at the Tail Air, I've got my A7 IV and the HubSpot Tail Air camera here. Now you'll notice on the camera switcher, you've got a new little icon, which is this control here. And that's the one that actually shows you the Tail Air, in my case, camera controls. If you didn't see the pop-up panel appear, then you just click on this and it will make the panel appear for you in your system. Now you will get a control panel for every PTZ camera that you've got connected to your Mac. So let's take a look at how we configure and move around our PTZ camera with this new control in Ecamm Live. It's really convenient to have a control like this directly in Ecamm Live without having to use the third-party software, and you can save presets and do all kinds of stuff with it. So let me show you what we can do with this control. So you can see I've got this up and running for my HubSpot Tail Air camera, and the controls are pretty straightforward. You've got the zoom in and out, so I can actually zoom in now, as you can see on the image, and zoom back out again using these controls. We can also enable, depending on your camera, AI tracking features on it. I'm just going to turn mine on to normal, and if you look here in the Tail Air cam, now the Tail Air is tracking me because I've just enabled the Tail Air tracking directly using this control on Ecamm Live. I'm actually going to put that back to off for a second. Now you've got full control over the pan, tilt, zoom functions as well. So here I'm just going to slide the control over to the left, and as you can see, it's moving the camera to the left. I can move it to the right. I can also move it up and down. And the great thing about this control is that you've got some speed settings. So if the control is moving a little bit too fast for you, you can change the pan, tilt, and speed settings here. I've got mine all the way over to the left. I like to have a lot of control over the camera. So as I'm moving it left and right, it's moving quite slowly, but you can speed that up and move it quite aggressively to the left and right, as you can see here. So I'm just going to put mine down to slow speed and move that around. So really simple control that you have over the camera, and a lot of finessing that you can do to get the position exactly right. One of the great things about this as well is that you now have the ability to save the presets. So within the HubSpot cameras and other cameras that are available, you can actually save and recall the presets. The position of the camera, you can save it and then recall it back. So I'm going to just tidy up my camera here and get this how I want it set. So the camera's going to be set there. And as you can see here on preset 1, you've got 10 in this case. I'm going to save my preset to preset 1. And then I'm going to move my camera over here to say I wanted to show you a little bit more of the studio, the screen, for example, or something like that. I'm going to go to preset 2 and I'm going to save that. And now if I just go back to preset 1 and hit recall, it'll snap back into position. So a really quick and easy way of saving all the presets within the Ecamm Live software. Now let me show you how to apply the presets that you've just set in your PTZ camera control to camera placeholders within the camera switcher. And this is a really convenient way of being able to recall these presets as you switch between scenes for various camera placeholders. So let me show you how to do that. Let's go to the screen capture here. Now in the camera switcher, you've got two tabs. All sources, as I mentioned, are all the cameras that you've connected. You would see all your PTZ and other cameras that you've got connected to your Mac here. In this tab, is the AB, which basically shows you all the mappings of the cameras to respective letters. This is the really convenient way of being able to change any camera presets and placeholders by just mapping these cameras to these various letters. In my case, my main camera is always on camera A, and my OBSBot camera down here is on camera placeholder I. Now, let me show you how to add camera placeholders and then associate the various presets with the OBSBot to that. So let's go on to camera I. I'm now going to create a new camera placeholder. So let's click on that. And I'm going to select my OBSBot tail err. Now what you can see is we've got these new features which shows you which preset do you want to allocate to this camera placeholder. I've already got preset 1 set up, which is camera I. So in this camera placeholder, I'm going to select preset number 2. Now you won't see a change in that in the camera preview, only when you actually create a scene with that camera. So let's go and do that, and I'll show you how that works. Let me show you how easy it is to add those 2 new camera placeholders that we've just configured with our PTZ presets to your Ecamm Live production with 2 new scenes. Let's go into live demo mode. And right now you can just see my main camera here, which is the A7 IV. If you remember, we have camera I and camera J, which are 2 camera placeholders. And we've assigned camera I to the OBSBot tail err preset number 1. And camera J is the OBSBot tail err preset 2. And we'll just create 2 scenes in our production and apply a placeholder to each one of those. So let's add plus. Let's do the first one. Let's do PTZ1 and create a new scene here and call this PTZ2. Actually, one scene's gone under the other. It doesn't matter. All right, on scene number 1, let's grab camera I and pop that into our main window. And as you can see, nothing's happened. It's just honored the placeholder and preset that we've set here. And let's now go into scene number 2, but this time I'm going to click and drag camera J and pop it there. And as you can see, the camera switches automatically to that preset. So based on the presets that you've saved and assigned to those camera placeholders, you can now switch between these 2. Let's go to this one. And preset number 1 is now switched automatically based on the scene that you just applied that camera placeholder to. And you can just switch between these. So it's a really convenient way of not only switching scenes now, but you can switch scenes and have the scenes automatically switch between the various presets that you configured in your tail err camera, in my case anyway. So let me just put this camera back here. How simple and marvelous is that? So a really easy and convenient way of mapping those camera placeholders with the presets and then applying them to your scenes in Ecamm Live. Don't forget to check out ecamm.com/community for more information and support. You'll find a host of resources at that site. Thanks for watching. See you again soon.